IndieCapitol. I'm Pamela Nash, and with me is Tanecia Britt. We're going to be talking about her Untitled project coming up. And tell us where you are in pre-production with the Untitled project right now.
Well, right now I'm in the development stages. We're just finalizing everything with the script and locations and things of that nature, and then we're going into casting. So I already have picked out who I want in the show. So right now it's just all on executing, like, the small casting call.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about that project later.
Okay.
I want to ask you, you've got a film festival coming up.
Yes.
And the run and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
You've decided that that's going to be one continuous take.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the value of that?
I think by doing a film challenge with one continuous take, it really challenges the filmmaker to really know if they can create narratives. Like, there's so many filmmakers that are, running around in Maryland, in D.C., and Virginia, claiming to be filmmakers. I think that there needs to be a challenge set up to really decipher the amateurs from the professionals. So if you can shoot a narrative in one whole take, I call that pretty professional to me. So that's why I began the competition.
So how's that going to work? They're either going to get it done or not get it done?
Yeah. They come, they register in Hyattsville, and then they disperse, and then they come back after about 4 or 5 hours of shooting, and they're ready to be screened because there's no editing because it's one shot. It's just the survival of the fittest. So you come back, you get your stuff back on time, or you don't.
And your festival, DMVIFF, is that related to the run and shoot, or is that a separate festival?
No, it is related to the run and shoot. The run and shoot is like a separate entity all in its own. It falls underneath the umbrella of the film festival. So I want to do it my best to really incorporate more filmmakers within the film festival. So this was a really good way to do some market research to find out like the who's who. So it does go underneath the film festival, but I'm just promoting it separately. Got
it. Now, when you started out, there weren't really any local film festivals.
There were 70 in the area and 50 active. The thing about a lot of film festivals is they're set up to generally make revenue. Mm-hmm. So there was no film festival that does what I do, like my niche area. I only focus on local filmmakers and foreign filmmakers. That's it. So if you live in California, you can't submit to the film festival. You have to be from this area. There was no film festival doing that. And like I said before, a lot of film festivals are mostly like revenue focused. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to do something different that just focuses on the filmmakers.
So what is the purpose of opening it up to international? You're either DMV or international.
Yeah. I think how it all started was I was living in London when I started really developing the film festival. And it was supposed to be made in London. And so I did not want to leave those filmmakers out because a lot of my base is overseas because that's where I got my MA. And so I really wanted to incorporate them as well. It's an easier way to unite two entities of filmmakers, just kind of join them and bridge that gap. And so I know that there was a lot of foreign filmmakers that wanted their work to be seen, especially in the nation's capital. So I distinctly did it like that because there is a lot of foreign filmmakers who make great art, who deserve for their things to be seen, especially in the nation's capital.
Now, we kind of touched a little bit on the survival of the fittest and who's who and
right.
Who can get it done. And I'm looking into your background, and you've got a bachelor's degree in film, you've got a master's degree in film. Mm-hmm. So how would you say that informs your judgment on other filmmakers that have perhaps not gone to film school?
I think with anything, you have to study it, with anything, whether it's spending time at the library or getting extensive work experience, but you have to study it. I think kind of what separates me is that I'm forever a student of the arts, and I think a lot of filmmakers, they shoot a film and they decide, okay, I'm a filmmaker, I am this, I'm just going to keep shooting. Whereas with me, whenever I'm in doubt, I go back to school. And so I think I just study it more, and I look more into the theoretical part of it more than the practical. The theory helps me with the practical. It helps me be better at the practical. And I think a lot of filmmakers here just focus on the practical itself and not really know the theory behind why they did it or how is it going to make the audience feel or how is it going to even generate revenue. So
if you had to give a tip to people who are making films now, they haven't gone to film school, what would be the number one tip? And you can't say go to film school.
The number one tip to do is be humble, listen and watch. If you're not going to go to film school, make sure you're getting work experience and make sure you humble yourself. Everyone has to become a PA. Either now, tomorrow, you have to be a PA. You have to start from the bottom up and really figure out what you want to do. So the best way to move through the ranks is to be humble. If you're not, and you don't have any education behind you, you don't really have anything to fall back on but your words. And words aren't much these days. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. So, speaking of words, let's talk about School Without Walls.
Okay.
How close to the true story did you decide to go?
It's crazy with School Without Walls because how it came about was it was based off of the Brixton riots that happened in London. And what happened was the community of Brixton was a majority Afro-Caribbean community, and they were really fed up with how the police were, treating the citizens. So, when a kid was accidentally killed in Brixton and they began to riot, but they had it in this contained area. And so what I decided to do was bring that more to modern times and still use that archive footage. So it has like this docudrama feel where you actually have the real life Brixton footage in there, but at the same time, I'm dealing with current day issues. Like in the story, I have Stratford, one of the characters, who he is really, really influenced by the Black Panthers, and he's really influenced by American culture. And that's something that I really saw a lot of when I lived over there, is that the youth are heavily influenced by the U.S. and American culture, but they don't know what these things are. They don't know how these things came about. And so I really wanted to put that in there because you have a lot of youth that like guns are illegal and things of that nature, but they see it in magazines, they see it in videos, and so they want to be that. So what they do is they go buy replica guns and drill holes into them and turn them into real guns. And this is something that happens over there, and it's not a foreign thing. But it's something I wanted to touch on because this society has been, especially overseas in England, it's been made to kind of protect the people, no guns, no this, no that, but still they're influenced by our culture. So I definitely, there is some fact to School Without Walls, and then there is some definite fiction, to it as well. So
is your opening sequence, is that the original footage, or is that...
No,
those are your actors.
Yeah, those are my actors. What's crazy is I shot the film in 2008, and about a month and a half ago, they really had a huge riot in London, like a huge riot, and it was exactly what happened in my opening scene, like a kid got shot by police. And and that's how it came about. And so instead of it being contained to this one area, it spread throughout the UK. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, like, when I saw it, I was like, I felt the tension in the air. It was sooner or later, and I think that opening scene, I wanted to do that because the kind of established the tension that was already there in their society. So.
And we'll take a look at that clip of the opening scene. you've gone from that real life kind of look at what's going on in that community, and now your next project that you have coming up is another real life look at some real life issues. So what drives your artistic choices?
People, like I'm a heavy believer in people, and they let me down daily, but they influence me. They're my muse, and like real life relationships, real life people, real life emotions are what drive cinema, and like not just having it be a release for me, but I want it more so to be a release for other people as well. Like I want to make people feel. And so the only way you can feel is by another interaction with another human being. So if I make a human film, then maybe you could connect as another human being, connect to that film as well. So I'm driven by experiences, I'm driven by life, and I'm driven by people who let me down daily.
Do you have a desire to educate people who are watching your films? You just want them to feel something, or you want them to learn their lesson?
It depends. It depends on what I'm trying to say. I like to do films that reach different audiences. I don't make films for everybody. I don't make films for everyone to understand or everyone to get or even appreciate or like. But I make it to target a certain audience. And it's always education. It's always an educating factor within all of my films. Now, how I get the point across, it just depends on, the mood of the film, but it's always going to be a lesson learned from it. And even if a person is still confused on a lesson, which they shouldn't be, but if they are, then they'll know how to feel it. They will feel it regardless.
So what's the subject matter that you're going to deal with in your currently untitled project?
I wanted to break down who is the exotic dancer. I wanted to break down this woman that, you throw dollars on, that she does what she has to do to get her money. Who is she, and who's she making this money for? Like, to do some market research, I went on casting. I was picked for doing a casting for the Bad Girls Club. And this is crazy. I got picked, and I went, and I knew I wasn't going to make the show because I clearly have sense. And so I went just to see like what type of people. This is when I was in the mood of developing this series. And so I went, and I was surrounded by a table full of exotic dancers. You would be surprised. And each of the exotic dancers had a reason of why they wanted to be in the Bad Girls Club. Each of them had a reason of why they were a bad girl. And it got me to thinking, like, all these different girls do the same job every night, and a lot of them worked at the same strip club. But at the end of the day, they have all these different pockets. Like one girl wants to learn more about herself, wants to figure out herself. The other girl wants to quit stripping. The other girl just loves money. She loves hustling. I mean, you had all these different things. And I said, for these type of women to just be put on the forefront where you can understand, like, not every exotic dancer is going to steal your husband. Not everyone is going to rob you of money or just trick you out or do anything. But, they are human beings, too. And I want to discover who they are. Whether if they're in it just for the money, then judge them as so. But at least I gave a platform for you guys to see what type of people they are.
So you're going to do this documentary style?
Yeah, I'm going to shoot a documentary style. It's going to have a little pinch of me in it.
So how are you going to handle it? Like, you're taking these women, you're going to expose who they are inside. I mean, an exotic dancer is a woman with a front, a really public front. And you're going to peel that away.
Yes.
How are you going to bring them back out of that when they've exposed their vulnerability? How are you going to prop them back up again?
I think I'm kind of going to open the bag and let it out. If they want to push themselves back up, great for them. Great for them. I think the whole focus is who they are, their strength as a person. I kind of don't want to close it back up. I don't want to, them to go back in that shell. If you're going to be an exotic dancer, people are going to see you anyway. You might as well expose it all. If you're going to expose that, you might as well expose it all. So they're going to strip themselves inside and expose it to the camera. I think to even sign up for this project, they got to be courageous. Like, the casting process is very strenuous because I want to make sure that I'm getting the proper people to be in it.
That's a really interesting concept. These are women who expose themselves physically, and you're going to get them to expose themselves emotionally. That's very much looking forward to seeing that. You're going to have to come back and tell us how that's going.
Yeah, I would love to.
You're putting together this film festival that really is very supportive of the local film scene, which means you've got directors, producers, actors, everybody working on these films. But then you're going to go to London, and you're going to bring your economy over there, and you're going to hire London-based people, and you're not going to hire anybody from DC. So how is it? How are you gonna justify that for us?
So this is how it's gonna work. Is I'm still promoting local filmmakers' work in the UK. I'm still gonna do that. I'm still gonna do that. The crew wise, I already have a crew in the UK. I already have a crew of people who helped me get School of Our Walls off the ground and who set me up and sent me here just to do this. You know, I already have that, and people here understand that. But what my thing is for the filmmakers to bring their films with me, and I'll take it there. You know what I mean? Eventually the film festival will be big enough where I'm able to fly out filmmakers. I'm able to do these type of things eventually. But right now, I'm doing my best to give them the best. So it's either take it or leave it.
So you're basically saying, okay, DC area people, hold on, because I'm gonna bring you up with me.
Yeah, but then again, not everyone deserves to be brought up with me.
Let's talk about that.
I'm just gonna keep it honest. I mean, because I think that there are a lot of good filmmakers in this area, but a lot of them are lazy, and a lot of them, and I've just discovered this with working with the film festival. It's a real shame to me that I have foreign filmmakers who bring out an audience for their films, but the local filmmakers, some of them won't even come to their own screenings. But I don't think a lot of filmmakers in this area understand progression. A lot of people are fixated on the local scene, and the local scene isn't strong enough to sustain much. So they get very content with being at a certain level. And so that's where, you know, when it comes to education and things of that nature, they don't re-educate themselves. They don't push themselves further because they think mediocrity is where it's at. And the local scene here is not too impressive, especially for it to be Washington, D.C. There is so many talented filmmakers here that consistently push themselves out of D.C. I know a lot of filmmakers here that screen their stuff in New York, L.A., VA. They go all around to push their stuff, but they don't do it locally because they're not impressed with the local scene. So I'm really trying to change that, and I've had my time with it. Like, you know, I'm still going to keep pushing it. I'm still going to keep doing it regardless because I still live here. So as long as I still live here, it's going to be on.
What are you seeing artistically in the local scene? I mean, I hear you talking about these guys are lazy, they don't get audience out, they're not selling tickets to the screening. But what are you seeing artistically? Are they worth it?
Yes. The filmmakers that are here, they keep me going because they consistently put out product, consistently. But, you know, either some are overlooked or some, you know, they're continuously working themselves into the ground. Like, they keep working. And so I do that for them. And they know who they are. You know, they do. But artistically, I think we have some of the most creative, aesthetic, bright, challenging filmmakers that the world has yet to see here. It just needs to be more of a platform here. We need more shows like this. We need more things like what Anthony does. We need more of it here. You know what I mean? So we won't lose our local filmmakers because a lot of them are, you know, I know about 3 that have moved to New York in the last 2 years that I've been here. Like 3. And there were 3 prominent ones. You know?
And they moved to LA, and their actors moved to LA. What is the answer for the DC film scene to keep their talent home?
I think, and this is going to sound crazy, exclusivity. I think there has to be a distinct line that separates the amateurs from the professionals. Because what happens is, if you mix and mingle with amateurs, then the professionals don't want to mix and mingle with it. They want to mix and mingle with other professionals. I think there needs to be consistent, you know, platforms like this set up, workshops, films There needs to be more and more and more independent films being shot here. Not the major budget film companies that come from LA to shoot and give us traffic jams and shoot around the monument, but like actual indie films here just for our talent to kind of thrive in. I think there needs to be, people need to take more initiative. You know, it's a lot of hard workers here, but not a lot of people who take initiative. And there's a true difference between hard work and initiative.
So it sounds like you're saying they understand the art, but they don't understand the business.
Yes. So there you go.
How are all these local filmmakers, amateurs, professionals, how do they learn the business? And you can't say go to film school. Because they're not going to go to film school.
They're not going to go. I think it starts with us. It starts with us. It starts with just being as professional as we can be and bringing those resources back home, really. I think, like, I hit myself with that question all the time, like, how can people get to know the business? Prime example, I did a music video for Talib Kweli, a producer friend of mine that's from Maryland but refuses to come back here. Keep that in mind. He refused to come back here. He lives in New York. He stays on Wall Street, has a very nice thing going, right? And he sends me this music video treatment. And he says to me, this is what we have to submit in this format to record labels. And it was a clear difference from the music video treatments that I had seen that were coming up with some high local artists here. It was a complete difference. And it's a professionalism thing. Like, I just think it's an ignorance. People don't know. People don't know what it's supposed to look. I didn't know that is how professional a music video treatment is supposed to do. So now I started doing mine like it. And I sent it to a filmmaker friend of mine, and he was like, oh, you're going to put me out of business with treatments like this. And I said, that's the whole...
Well, you know what? We're going to talk about the Film Ghetto of D.C., okay? Because there are local filmmakers that refer to this as the Film Ghetto. Nobody pays anybody for anything, and everybody wants to get their work done.
For free.
So how do we go from amateur to professional, from art to business, and nobody wants to pay anybody to do the work?
You know what? When I started running the film festival, I learned this very easy. You have to spend money to make money. And honestly, you have to put up money. You're going to have to put up money. If I go out, tomorrow I have a music video, literally. I have to pay my camera guy. Simple. Like, I'm not making millions off of it, but I have to pay. It starts with the initiative of paying. See, like, if you just say, at least I'm going to pay you this amount, it's not much, but I'm paying this amount for your time, at least shows that they're appreciative of your time just a bit. Like, let's just keep it real. No one here has that Hollywood money yet.
Right.
A lot of people who are doing well for themselves are doing full-time freelancing, also working a full-time job to sustain like their lifestyle, to even just keep everything afloat. So take a little chunk of that and put that over here with your freelancing, and then it at least keeps the money rotating. At least keeps the money. Like, we came up with a theory last year, and it was working for a while. It still works. But a couple of us filmmakers, to work on each other's projects, we had to pay each other. And what happened was we started rotating money. Like, I would have a project this day, and this person would have a project this day, but I paid this person $500 to do something for me, and this person had to pay this person $300, and they had to pay this person, and it just kind of went around in a huge circle. And we realized, like, the money, we're keeping the money in our tight circle. And that's kind of what DC has to kind of get on that mindset of, if we're going to make money here, let's keep the money here, because that's what Hollywood does. Hollywood keeps the money there.
How do you get people out of that mindset? Right now, I think what's going on in the DC film scene is the barter system. Look, I'll edit your thing if you shoot mine, and I'll host your program if you edit this. And how do you get them out of that everybody owes everybody a favor into forget the favors, bring the money?
Oh, okay, it's easy. No.
Somebody's got to start.
I don't work. Yeah, someone has to take a stand. Like, when I got back from England, I was doing little free projects here and there, and then I did a couple, and then I decided no. And so it's been my thing. I'm the no woman. Like, I don't do anything for free, at all. I won't do it for free, and it's off of principle. It's off of principle. If you want me to take time out of my day to fully focus on you, you're going to pay me for that time. You're not paying me for the work. And sometimes I think like people don't explain why they want their money to well enough. They'd say, oh, well, you know, because I'm skilled and I have this going on, I have that. And it's not about that. It's about your time, because the work is fun. That's why you do filmmaking, and that's why you act, and you do these things because they're fun, they're released for you. But the time that it takes, you're going to pay for it. So I think a lot of people are going to have to take that stance. If all the filmmakers said, we're no longer going to work for free, then someone will have to start paying. But I think there's always that person who says, oh, I'll do it for free. Not a worry, I'll do it for free. Don't worry, you don't have to pay that person. I'll do it for free, which messes up all of us because we're sitting here like, you have to pay us. So
what do you do when that person comes along? We've got, 8 universities, 9 universities in this area where students are studying film. They're going to come out and they're going to say, I'll do it. I'll do it on my summer for an internship. We've got, so how do we transition out of the barter economy into the cash economy?
It's a show and prove thing. When you get out of college, you do not know as much as you think you do. I'm not going to go to a film student just because they want it for free. I think it comes back to the business person and having a business sense and realizing that you're going to have to spend money to make money. I think we have a lot of half business people running around here that want to talk business but don't understand the aspect of it. And that's why I said a lot of people have to just kind of push themselves forward and say, okay, this is what it is and this is what I'm going to pay for your time. I think it honestly starts with us. It starts with us, and it also starts with us deciphering who's who. Like, I really want actors to really, and producers too, to really look at who they're getting their product from. Like, look at that person's reel. Every filmmaker should have a reel. I wrote about this for the Upper Marlboro Patch. Every filmmaker should have a reel. Every filmmaker, actor, you should have a reel. It should have that business presentation. And like, I think there needs to be like a huge DC workshop. Just have everyone in one room and say, listen, guys, the do's and don'ts. Like, don't do that, you know?
We're doing it right now, right here. Tell them what they need to know.
The first things first is have your business legit. Like, that's the first things first. I mean, your name is everything. Before you open your mouth, your name is everything. Always work with quality. Check people's references. Like, know where this person's coming from. Know where you're spending your money, and know that you're going to get a return on your money. Like, it's just simple business. If I had to sit on this stage and teach all of DC how to do business, I need to move because there should be other people out there that feel the same way that I feel, especially when it comes to like how to conduct business. It's just that push. It's taking initiative. Like, I have to, worry about
Filmmakers of DC, Tanecia Britt is your professor.
You're going to have them hating me. They're going to write me hate.
No. This is where you come to find out how to do the business of making film. IndieCapitol and Tanecia Britt. She will be the first IndieCapitol professor of IndieCapitol University.
I'm just saying, you got to do it right. I mean, because at the end of the day, like, when you step out of DC, that's what matters. And when you step outside of the local realm, that's what matters, is when you go to New York and they say, I saw your reel. Excellent work. So.
And get a reel.
Get a reel.
For IndieCapitol, I'm Pamela Nash, and this was Tanecia Britt.